I think Twitch... Oh, okay. Twitch thinks there's something going on. YouTube is also live. All right. Welcome to Go to Hangout number 213. Today, I'm going to do something that's important, but maybe a little boring. And I'm going to review my current setup on the server. We've had some issues recently. I had some downtime. I've got currently 3 servers running, 2 of which are just wasting money. And I need to figure out where things go. I also need to separate some things out. Alpha is currently not running either. So I want to figure out a few things. From my time at university, which was decades, many decades ago, I remember there used to be certain diagramming tools for server infrastructure. I'm pretty sure this tool Miro has support for this sort of stuff. So let's see if there's some kind of can I templates. Here we go. So meetings, workshop, Azure research design, strategy plan, diagramming and mapping, cloud infrastructure optimization. I mean, it is on AWS, but it's not really just about the infrastructure. It's about what goes where and all that. Yeah, it's not really about cost either. It's just about where things are. If I search for server, what does it find? Serverless image handler, informations, planning, agile roadmap, distributed load testing. What about infrastructure? I'm hoping some of these are going to be familiar and sort of in any way related to sort of proper server infrastructure diagramming stuff. Cisco network diagram. I mean, like, I don't want something that's vendor specific either. Cloud architecture blueprints. AWS. Cloud server technology roadmap. Server infrastructure. And I have something that's not AWS specific. Yeah, because I'm guessing this expects a very specific sort of format, and I'm not, you know, I'm using AWS, but I'm not using like all their features. So I just want something that has like the icons for servers and stuff already in it, and I can just copy and paste them and so all that sort of thing. Blueprints. What's a blueprint? Roadmap plan. This blueprint here, it seems to include multiple boards. Format templates, API, research, product roadmap, technical document, data flow. Kind of something like this. Something where I have boxes that I can connect with. What does this look like? Related examples, cross-account ECT starts managing HPC clusters. Instance scheduler. Like, these are specific tasks. Architecture diagram. What about this one? What does that look like? Yeah, because it looks like it's just downloading in a whole like diagram of stuff that doesn't apply to me. You know, I don't have an Amazon Dynamo. That's what I was kind of worried. But it gives me a shapes library, which is kind of what I was looking for. I don't know why this says it does. What is this? Is this search, I guess? All right. So we currently have 3 servers, a medium, a large, and extra large. The large one is the current production server. The extra large is a new server I created a couple of weeks ago. For testing, and that I want to move the main production site to. And the medium one is an old server from a couple of months ago where I cloned the server and it works and it's sitting there as a subdomain. And I'll probably want to offload some of the other sites like svencodes.com and things like that to it. And then basically, ultimately, I'll probably want to get rid of large. I'll probably have a clone of the site running on medium as a sort of standby backup, or run beta on medium or something if medium has enough RAM, which I'm not entirely certain. Let me double check that quickly. So medium is the 4.1. It's a T2 medium. Memory. I think it might only have 2 gigabytes. It has 4 gigabytes of memory. So in theory, it should be able to run one instance off the server without problems, in theory. But in practice, I'm struggling on the large, which has 8. So I'll have to look into that. But this is exactly, I want to have like a box that represents the server, loading up the properties and saying what's in it. But I'm not sure if this is super helpful. I mean, these are just Amazon icons. What if I just type server? I mean, like if I do this, right? Can I not use these if I don't have a paid plan or something? All right, if I want to put a label on this, like, can I? Type T, right? And I'll say AWS like this. Because I'll basically need an object, like I want to label this thing, right? So ultimately, like for example, these things, this label underneath here, is that just completely independent? Yeah, you see I can move these together, but is this because they're grouped? Like, do this, no, that's independent. Like, how do I get this icon with the text attached? Like, it does have a label here. Is there a reason why this label isn't shown? Center back, move to layer, copy, copies in there, duplicate, create framed. Shape with label. So mirror shape with label. Are you supposed to just like create a separate item and then group them and move them together? Ow. Able to put labels in there. Okay, that's a request. I mean, if I take these and I press Ctrl G, I guess that'll group them. If I press Ctrl U, Ctrl Shift G, does that ungroup them? Yes. So if I click this and I press Ctrl Shift G, but you see, it doesn't look the same as the other ones. So this is something else than a shape, I imagine. What is this? Switch type. Like, is it, do these things have magical properties? So these aren't unlocked? This isn't unlocked, but this is. All right. I think I'm gonna start over. And for now, I'm just gonna... here we go, shapes and lines. I'm just gonna make a box, right? And then we're just gonna call this AWS 4. And then we're just gonna, for now, that's just that, what it is, right? Right? And then we'll create, actually we'll change this to the rounded corner ones. And then we'll create the other 3. And then this is 4.1. And this is 4.2. Now, I did a mind map with this recently where I kind of structuring various jobs and tasks that I have. Because I want to attach things to these, right? So currently, I have a bunch of sites running on one of these, for example, right? So if I go, for example, if we go into AWS 4, which I believe is actually... No, it is 4, right? right? And this is basically the services running on that machine right now. And technically those servers are running on all three, but only one of them is actually exposing them, right? So I'm currently seeing only svencodes.com and CTC Book as sort of separate sites that aren't SudokuPad itself. I think everything else is basically SudokuPad or related, right? I don't know if I can... Like, can I easily make a list of things? Let me just... One second. If I open Mirror on my other account where I have the SudokuPad plan... was it this one? Yeah. So this is a... what exactly? Like... How do I tell it that it's a mind map thing? And like, I mean, if I take this, right, and I put that here. So this is a mind map shape, switch type. But which one of these is it? That's, is that just a visual style? Ah, no, yeah. So that's just the visual style. So do I have that here as well? Okay, I might have that here as well. So if we do something like, well, for now, we want to have just a list. Can I Miro insert list? Can I just make a list of things? List component, right? Or is this another request? You have looked into the checklist option with the notes panel. So there's a notes panel. Is it with sticky note? Card. What do they mean by notes panel? It's next to the... I don't even see whatever this is. List component that you could add to on your both, the same way you can add a sticky note or shape or text block. Kanban board feature. How do you do that? Ah, here we go. Kanban planner. List. Maybe, no. Okay. List. Table. Ah. All right. Wait, title, description. Can I not change that? Site. Domain. Right, so I can say SudokuPad production prod. And then that'll be SudokuPad.app, for example, right? It's a bit weird having this in a table format and having all the stuff in here that I don't actually want. Especially, like, I can't pull these out as far as I can tell. All right, so we have SudokuPad beta, SudokuPad alpha. We have svencodes.com, which is obviously svencodes.com. Beta.sudokupad.app and alpha.sudokupad.app. So I think we can get started with these, and then, you know, things can get grouped, like once I figure out where things go and all that sort of thing. Because one of the so I have to remember 4 is large. How do I say that this is current production? All right. And then this is the dev one. And then this is the new one. We'll do that. And can I make these bigger? Yeah, nice. Oh, wait. All right, we'll do something like that. Maybe a bit bigger. All right, so these are our 3 servers. This is where currently everything is running. Alpha being shut down. This is where I want to move Sven and the other ones in. So if I say, I do something like, maybe if we do just a little simple this, or this. No. Why is it getting bigger? Why is it getting so big? The hell. So we want to have svencodes.com on here. Now, the other thing is, okay, it makes me redo that. And we want ctcbook.com here. Why are these so styled so differently? Can I just paste styles? Copy style, Control Alt E. There we go. So we can put domain names here, right? Because currently everything is running behind my own proxy, right? And the proxy takes care of SSH stuff. So, and it does a bunch of small things but important tasks. And the aim was always that the proxy itself is a simple piece of software that never goes wrong. Because if the processes behind it go wrong, I can restart them and replace them, but the proxy can't go wrong, right? So we don't want to have anything complex in there. But it's not really that way anymore. So probably what I need to do now is go back in there and rethink how it works. And ultimately, I'm tempted to get rid of it altogether and replace it with something like Apache or Nginx or something. And I haven't really kept up to date. I used to use Apache. Before Apache, I also wrote my own servers, just in assembler back then. And I've never really moved to Nginx, and there was a time in the early 2000s where Nginx was like, oh, faster than Apache. But I've never really worked with any of these server systems since I've moved to Node.js, because I've always just built my own servers, right? So what is a good server for Node.js? Server router. Like for Node.js, Nginx, Apache. What other things are there running these days, right? So for example, how do we run Node.js behind Apache? Node.js behind Nginx. To let Nginx handle the SSH things. Because right now what happens is, and where is it? It's down here somewhere, isn't it? 1 second. Let me... Is it not called debug proxy anymore? It's under... Is it just server? No. That's the actual server. No, wait, where is my... Ah, it's on the Sven codes, right? Yeah, okay. So currently this is basically the server, and it just does a bunch of stuff. It reads in the key files for all the different domains, and then does redirecting, and does a bit, has a couple of routing things. And it's a bit messy. It doesn't do a lot, and this is exactly the sort of thing that something like Nginx would probably do better. So, like it does vhost, basically. So let's see if we want to do this behind Nginx. I haven't really used Nginx, and I probably should install it and actually get started with that sort of thing. And then basically the idea is that we'll just have Nginx and then basically the plain HTML websites running here. And if we're going back to here, that's basically CDC book and Sven codes. And I don't know right now if things like the link server can go there. Those probably need to be part of Sudoku Pad. So there's a couple of things like there's the Thumbs API, which is kind of semi-defunct. There's TinyPuzz, which probably should also move. So I'll have to look into some of these. All right, so what's this? HTTP resource proxy, mail server, generic TCP, UDP proxy server, blah blah blah. But is Nginx the state of the art? Nginx or Apache in 2025? And I'm trying to remember, what do you call something like Nginx that doesn't, it's not, yeah, it does a file server like Apache is, but like something that runs in front of something like Node.js. I mean, I called it a proxy because that's technically what it's doing, but it's not really how it's generally used. Currently Apache, but I want opinions in which I should go for. My end use cases, gen websites, we have 4 maybe video streams, files on top is about 20 to 30 people, 4 sets of 1K per day. Cons both. I decided to stick with Apache for my production and test Nginx and development. As far as cons seems to there's more stable and just faster, but has some quirks. So I might just stick with Apache because I know Apache and I've used it in the past. Like, is there something that's significantly different in 2025? Yeah, here we go. So let's see. Website. This is the sort of thing I probably should just ask ChatGPT. But it's also the sort of thing where theoretically I probably know that more than ChatGPT. I just haven't dealt with it in a while, so I'm not super on top of it. So I wouldn't trust it necessarily. One of the rival sources of Apache has similar market share size, but the latter is more popular. So Nginx is more popular? Oh, okay. For early World Wide Web. Back then, many websites could only handle 10,000 connections. Web source released within a synchronous and event-driven architecture. Many clients request simultaneously. Handle high traffic scale. I mean, I don't have high traffic and scale, right? I have 40,000 visitors a day, not per second. It is usable as a load balancer, which is something I might be interested in. Not really for load balancing, but just for failover. Reworks proxy, but so can Apache really. I mean, part of me is tempted to use Apache because I'm familiar with it, but also because my knowledge is old, I might be frustrated, and learning something from scratch might feel better. Simple thread and process different architecture. Use different approach with non-blocking event driven architecture. So it's running basically just like Node.js under the bonnet. So Nginx and Node.js. How do you run Node.js? Did I not look at this already? I thought I was looking at this already. Oh, no, I don't want to log in. Isn't that the article I was just reading? All right, let's see if we can run it under WSL. Right, so we have sudo apt update, sudo apt yeah. Been a while. And then I'll have to do a local thing. But then I can probably just install it on the dev server because it's not really being used right now. So mkdir test or is there Sven codes? So Sven codes is here. Let's make a separate folder. Right, and then here we'll just say sudo apt install nginx. Now I don't know how it runs inside WSL, but I guess in theory it should just run, right? Nginx WSA IP tables. It doesn't have IP tables, so it might not actually work. So we can't run nginx. Oh, maybe we can. No, Docker nginx start and I just but trying to start. So nginx could not open error log file var log nginx error log. Well, permission denied. So if I do this, I copy this, right? And then say allow. Does it get permissions? The user just makes sense only. Okay. When it comes to Apache web server pre-installed, it's using the default web port. So when you try to run it, oh. I didn't even know. So it is running Apache by default? That's not very helpful. It's not been booted with systemd as init. Okay, wait a second. What? Let's see. How do we run this under WSL? Like, I'm getting mixed messages because we don't have IP tables, so maybe it doesn't work. It's not expected it works because you can access Windows servers. I mean, I can run nginx under Windows and then just do everything else in Linux. Although, I don't know. Probably not, actually. It'll use the Windows Node.js, and that's not really useful to me. Okay, let's see. So, how is an integrated virtual host on Nginx? Found this a tutorial. Okay, so let's see. What's this tutorial say? Yeah, blah, blah. Alright, let's go through this stuff. I don't think I ran that before. Well, it'll upgrade a couple of things, that's fine. Yeah, it's work with WSL is still adding friction to processes. Like if I logged into my, I don't know, Raspberry Pi, I could probably just sudo apt install and it'll just work. Maybe we'll SSH into the laptop and do it there. Also, I have a USB stick with another Linux installation ready to go onto the mini PC. That's another option. But I haven't done that yet. I thought this was just 19.2 megabytes. What's taking so long? Come on. So let's make some notes. WSL/nginx. So we gotta have these. And then we'll have that. So that should just work like that. Okay, that's not what I'm seeing. Yeah, I don't want PHP. Holy moly. God forbid. Okay. And after that, we'll need to update again. Yeah, and then it never works for me. Everybody else seems to be doing just fine, and it never works for me. Alright, what if I just do this? I mean, we did install it before, right? All right, so maybe we didn't need that at all. All right, this will give us an error. It did before. Oh, maybe not. Okay. And then I don't think that'll work. Maybe it'll work. Holy moly. Okay. Maybe it'll just work. Okay. So how do we configure it? No, we don't want to do that. No, we don't do that either. No, no, we don't do any of those things. No, 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 no. I literally want to look at an HTML file of my own. All right, so if I go to here, there's an enginex.conf. So, okay. All right, and how do I configure that? How to configure Nginx. Yeah, beginner's guide. That sounds it. Like it. So, where are these? First, create the data, blah, blah, blah. Port Webster task, search here, example. Okay. No, I want to configure it. I want to tell it where things are. All right, where do you put this? Configure engines, modules, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Server content. Next, open the configuration. The configuration file already includes, where is it? Is it this? I guess. I like how it just skips past where this file is supposed to be. All three were, yeah, okay. I hate when it gives examples and doesn't actually, you know, it's like, oh, that's how you do a thing, but I don't want to do that thing. I want to do something similar for my own stuff. How do I do that? My brain does not work like this. All right, we're going to ChatGPT. Okay, so I want to try to set up a very simple .js site behind Nginx in WSL. I just installed it and want it to show certain files from a certain location. How do I configure it? Yep. Don't tell me to... Stop. 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 Only respond to my questions. I do not want to learn how to make a Node.js site. I already have it. I want to configure Nginx to serve certain files. Respond with less than one page of text. And only answer the question asked. God, freaking prompt engineering. I actually have to figure that out. Okay, so it's under sites available. Sites available. All right. So we have a default file here. Can make this a bit bigger. All right, so we have something like this. So this is the default site. Okay, nice. All right, so config file default and add inside the server. No, I do not want to change default. I want to create a new setup for my site. All right. So touch svencodes.com or just Sven Codes. Okay. What are the permissions here? Sven Codes. All right, sudo nano Sven Codes. Let's take a look at what default looks like. All of this is default. Okay, let's take the whole thing. That's the default site. All right, and now it suggests that's more than a page. It's already not doing what I'm asking it to. All right, fair enough. So we want to create a server. We want to listen at 80. Server name localhost. Location, path to your files. Do we have location root here? Yeah, so we want root to go to /mnt/c/ or actually we'll just go here. Test engine X. Let's call it, let's just put it at www for now. Right? And then here we'll just touch index.html. Actually, no, change tab size. Ow, this is crackling. Urgh. Seriously? All right, I'm not gonna do that now. All right, so we have that. Right. And then over here, we've created that. What else do we need to set up here? Why is it proxying things? So I still need to run my own HTTP server, I'm guessing. Okay. How to index on? What does auto index on mean? No, I don't want that. All right. All right, so what is this? Enable site reload. Okay, so I think we need to symlink this. Sudo engine x-t. Well, already getting errors. Thanks, ChatGPT. Ugh, seriously. Current WD, CWD. No. CD. Get current path Linux. PWD. So home/Kilroy. All right. I probably did. Okay. Test successful. Hey, it actually helped. Oh. No, I get. Right. Analyze this response. Okay. And now. It still shows the default site. I'm pretty sure it's correct. Well, why didn't you tell me so before? That's the thing with ChatGPT. It'll confidently tell you the wrong thing, and then it doesn't work. It says, well, why did you do the wrong thing? Well, because you told me to do the wrong thing. Well. Maybe because I don't have index.html. Nope. You dummy. Nope, still. No, this is the output. What? Please run results. Okay. Well, let's see what it says now. Like, you haven't confirmed one thing. You didn't ask me to confirm this one thing. How am I supposed to know that I'm supposed to confirm this? For which file? Home/Kilroy? Okay. Hey. All right, we are somewhere. Okay, so the internal service. So this test and okay, that's okay. So if I go now to Sven codes, for example, see Sven codes, right? Here we probably have a script. We run test Sven codes. So if I do this, it should run under some port 905. Okay, so if I do localhost 905, okay, so that's the site. So now we should try to add our config there, and we're going to look into how Nginx set that set up earlier. Why can't I scroll the scroll bar? This is so annoying. Okay. Where was that? Holy crap, that was so far back. Here we go. So if I go here now, right, so we have location slash, and instead of this, we're going to put all of that in there. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to hash out these like that. We're going to make sure these are tabbed correctly, and that'll be 9005. Upgrade, I don't know. I don't know what the hash, the dollar HTTP upgrade there does. That looks like some sort of variable. All right. So if I do this now, and then we'll rerun one of the Nginx commands. All right, I've changed the config to this to try to reach my node.js service, but it still shows the old file. All right, it's probably going to tell me to restart it, even though I've run the command for reloading it. Yes. Okay. All right, that worked. Why did my thing not work? Okay. So now this is running through Nginx. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to test setting up an SSH, or what's the word? A certificate, and to configure that. And I do this locally only. All right, now it's gonna get tricky. Does it though? You're saying that. Does it though? So if I do LL, I do this. So there should be test key and test key.pub. All right. Configure SSH server to allow the key. Okay. I don't think there are any authorized keys there. Okay, maybe there are. Okay. Is that gonna work? Post key verification. Doing something now. So probably someone could have eavesdropped on your right and middle attack. When I try SSH, come on, get this error. Wait, why we're doing SSH? I want to do SSL. Did I mistype that? Not SSH. What are we doing here, buddy? Okay. Okay. That outputted a bunch of stuff. Where do we put that? It's not under /SSL. Is it in a file? Ah. Ah, no, there it is. Okay. All right, so it wants me to add these things in. Okay. So that goes up here. So we're going to change that to listen 443 SSL. We're going to add these two. Get rid of the spaces and turn them to tabs. Like that. Okay. And then that's all the same. Okay. Now it wants us to run this to reload. Okay. Now if I refresh this, it's not working anymore. Okay. It gets me unsafe, unsecure. No parts, triple key, fingerprints, localhost. Now does that mean it doesn't recognize it? Yeah. The browser complains that it is not secure. Okay, I probably don't want to go through all this. I can probably test it on the server because obviously there I have certificates that work. I have existing certificates for certain domain names. Could I test with those by adding those domain names to my hosts file? I think I should be able to use the existing certificates. Right. So we should be able to say whatever, Sven codes, right? All right. But we don't need to do this right now. So this is kind of, oh yeah, and let's do a like an arbitrary let's add CTC book, for example, right? So if I go here, And then CTC book, I think, has its own run script. And it's running on 9.0.8. Ooh, wait, what? Ooh. Ooh. Wait, what? Screen. You don't actually know what screen does. I don't remember. But maybe it's enough if we do... Oh, wait, we're in the wrong place. We're doing this, right? And then we'll do localhost 9.0.8. That should be CTC book, which is a redirect on the root. ctcbook.com/that, right? So if I go to localhost 9.0.8, like that, okay. So we should be able then to configure a second site here. All right. So can I add another server block to the same config? Or do I need a second config? Okay. Except we probably shouldn't. So we probably should copy this. I'm just a bit like worried about the permissions. Like if I do this, right? I copied the config to a new name. How I enable it. So we're doing CTC book, CTC book, like that. All right. And then right, we'll do sudo nano tcb like that. And I'm gonna have to look for the host files quickly. It's C:, system. No, it's Windows, system32 drivers, etc. Oh, it's in my list here. Right. So we can do something like Sven codes.localhost and ctc book.localhost. So if I add these two, and then we'll go in here. This is ctc book right now, so we'll name this ctc book.localhost. We'll use the same certs. And this is gonna be under 9.0.8, like that. And if I do the same for Sven codes, change this to svencodes.localhost. And then we'll do the whole restart thing. Like that, right? And now if I go svencodes.localhost, go, and svencodes ctcbook.localhost, it redirects. Oh yeah, it'll redirect. So if I go here, https ctcbook.localhost, host. So this shouldn't redirect. It does redirect. Why does that redirect? Ah, no, it doesn't redirect. It's just the browser wants me to acknowledge the self-signed certificate, I guess. Cool. And we don't have the port name here, and it's routing it through Nginx. So now I want to look at the logs. And then, of course, that's the whole other thing. I have to come through all the configs and make sure the server logs don't spam and fill up my drive and all this sort of stuff. I mistyped. How do I view the server logs? How did I miss so many letters in that sentence? All right, so we should be able to just do this. And if while I'm doing this, if I refresh this, we should get hits for every file. If I do this and do disable cache, yeah. If I do this, refresh, I should get all the files. Cool. Okay. So that's basically replacing my Sven Codes proxy. I think there's nothing in there that this kind of configuration in NJ wouldn't also do. Like there's a couple of redirects, like this would just go straight in there. There's the proxying, that's those configs we just did. In fact, we can just no, we can't just look at them because they're in the WSL file system. Yeah, we have the virtual private hosts, which is all this stuff. So I kind of have to check all of these subdomains and all that. Like SudokuCon does that. Where does that go? Oops. Where the hell does that go? That's weird. Why does this go to here? I don't know why I did that. I don't know what the thinking there was. But by pulling these things out, that will be easier, that they're not all smooshed together. HTTPS redirects, yeah. So we want to set up. Okay, so let's do something like this. Okay, how would I redirect a URL not using HTTPS to the same URL with HTTPS? Second server block that list is on port 18 as a redirect. Yeah, that's I figured I'd have to do that. Okay. So if we'll go in here now and we'll do server uno listen 80 server names and codes dot local localhost, right? And then return 301. But would that for its all requests preserve domain path? Okay, so it should preserve domain and path. HTTPS $host $request URI. Sorry, I have some hairs of Toby's on my keyboard and it's distracting me. Do I have any subpages for Sven Codes? I don't think I actually do. Maybe I do. There's /thanks, right? Yeah. So if I spell it correctly. Yes. All right, so if I go to the non-HTTPS version, right now it shouldn't work. If I go here and now jump back through this, Reload. Got something wrong. Two. Test failed. Ooh. Server name. Invalid parameter server name. Oh, I missed a semicolon there. I think these commands I'm gonna have to run every time. We want that, and then that. These two commands, they go hand in hand. Okay. So now if I go here, we want that as well. Test is successful. Test is successful. The redirect does not seem to work. All right, let's give it the config. So test URL config. Does it though? I mean, it did before. Yeah, it does. Oh, wait. Okay, now it works. All right, never mind. I think Chrome is caching that. So we probably want to do curl -I. And that should hit that. Yeah. So, and I think the curl returns the move permanently, yeah. Okay, so that's a bunch of little basics things that I just needed to kind of gut check. So that gets us redirects like that. And then obviously in the same way, we can add a server for every sort of domain alias. I guess domain aliases can be added here. What do I do if I want multiple domains to show identical content without redirects? So I just add multiple server names, I imagine. Oh, I don't even have to add it. Yeah. So for example, 904 Sven codes, right? So we can then add Sven codes dev.localhost, for example, right? And then we can do the whole check, reload, logs, and then we'll update the host file. to add a second. And now we should be able to have this still working, but we should also be able to look at this domain name, and it's treated like a new domain name, but it should show the same content. Except it doesn't. Wait, what? I think it was def.localhost. 404. Uh-huh. Whoa, what's this? All right, fair enough. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit troublesome, but at least it's a standard format that maybe I can deal with. So these work, these don't. It doesn't show the domain name that it's dealing with though. The Nginx logs do not show which domain is used, so it's hard to debug issues. Maybe it'll let me know how to update that. Okay, per site, that's what I was looking for. So I should be able to go in here, do this. Can I add log format into the site specific file to and where? All right. Define log for once in your main config. Is in your site, use it like this. You can add log for in a site specific file, but only at the HTTP block level, not inside server location. Blocks, okay. So if I go into here, okay, we have the HTTP thing. Access lock with host. So we probably want to put this above these. We'll do that. Okay. And then these can be with host. With host. All right. And then here we should be able to do this again. Test failed. The log level with host. Log format with host. Yeah. I got this after adding everything to the nginx.conf file. No, it doesn't. Why would you assume this? Hey, Poochie! Come here, come here, come here. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, you were gone for so long. Wait, hey, you too, be. Just throw away. One second. I gotta say hi to Toby. 1 second. Oh no, he left. Never mind. All right. What does ChatGPT say? Airlock does not accept the log format name on log level. Okay. How can I see domains in errors as well? Oh, that seems annoying. What? That's pretty bad. All right, let's not mess with that for now. Well, that might be really annoying, and I basically won't know where the errors are coming from. All right, so now this works. This should work. Okay. Then, because I didn't put an S there. And now, nope. Hmm. Hmm. This is how I configured 2 domains. Sven Coase _def/localhost. Sven Coase.def. Nope. Is it working now? What? What? Well, you created the certificate, not me. Silly ChatGPT. Let's see. Is that how we created the certificate? Self-signed, yes. All right, so we should be able to just run this. All right. Do that again. And now, do the root domain. Okay. Now it works. Okay. And if I go here, it also redirects correctly. All right. And this still works. Well, I guess I have to re-accept this because it's a different certificate now. I just go to here. Oh. All right. That's what we'd like to see. Where's the thanks page? Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so that's also now the case of having multiple domain names set pointing at one thing. So this is the block we need for configuring it. All right. I'd like to see is, okay, so yeah, ideally I wouldn't have to copy this 26 million times. All right, that kind of sort of makes sense actually. So if I do this here, and then we'll just put that in there. Right, now I'm assuming that won't work. So if I go in here now and do that, And then we'll pull that stuff. Oops. All right. And I mean, I'm sure Nginx has all the caching in the world that we need. Okay, I'm quite happy with this actually. I don't really need that anymore. Don't need that. Where's our Miro? Let's bring this over here. Here and here. And I think this I can do without for a sec. For these. Right. So we really want, but fundamentally we want anything that's not Sudoku pad related separate. Anything that doesn't need to access the files behind the scenes, which is these sites at the moment. Secondly, we probably want to be able to put everything behind Nginx. So this is step one, right? We'll just clean this out a little. It means there's a bunch of domain names that will go away. Then I would, and I'm not going to do this on stream, guys. I need to figure these things out. I need to figure out these guys. Like, I probably want to remove anything that's not running. Like, some of these are just tests. Like, I don't think these are live in any way. Like, there's probably no process running. So I need to kind of tidy these up. The question is, do I want to tidy this up and reduce it before I move it in Nginx? Or do I want to start from scratch building up a new config for StokePad itself? The thing is, locally, when I'm testing, I'm just running bare beta, right? But online, there's a bunch of other things that need to be running, such as StokePad.link, for example, right? And they're separate processes, so I need to kind of have them all running all together. API and API Alpha, I don't think... Does API Alpha? I don't think API Alpha is live. It might be. So there's a lot of these little microservices sitting around. Like, this might just not exist. Like, there might not be anything on port 600. All right, we haven't really diagrammed out as much as I thought, but actually getting started on the Nginx config is probably better. And then this is going to be running all the SudokuPad services. Most of this stuff is just going to be redirects. Now, when we're looking over here, there's a few services running. Can I resize this, please? There we go. There's a few services running, right? So alpha, beta, and this is our 3 copies of the site. So encodes will go away. Thumbs.SudokuPad, I'd like to get rid of. I don't think I might have to shut it down because it's a huge pain in the butt. TinyPuzz is, what does that do internally? I think it's currently just a redirect. Oops. I don't even know. Wait, what? What? That doesn't make any sense. Am I hacked? The hell? 420. Second. How do I identify which process is listening to a given port on Linux? So if I do this and then go by 9020. Right. Or node var. Uh-huh. Um, T. Oh, tiny pause. Okay. What the hell is that? Not a directory. What the hell is it then? Ciao. Um, it's very possible that this server is compromised. Let's have a look at the latest one and see if it's there as well. etc. Oh, no. It's here as well. It's not here. Why would it only be there, though? Does that make sense? What the heck is going on? Hmm. Hmm. So, where does this stupid URL come from? What's running here right now? $90.30. Um, Wait. Tiny puzz. 1, 2, 3. This. Right. We'll do this for 5. Oops. tinypuzz.com. We're going to clear this. And where does that take us? Eventually it redirects to tinyurl. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot, of course. I made this a proxy for tinyurl. So I'm guessing tinyurl.com/scf is just the tinyurl for this Brazilian site. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm coming back. I'm coming back around. I'm figuring it out. So so if I do this, no, not this. Damn it. If I grab this, and I'll just grab, where's the API? I just wanna cut and paste that freaking puzzle ID. All right. If I do this, and we'll go to tinypuzz.com/. Oh, but that is, does that work for puzzle URL? No, it doesn't. So tinypuzz currently is just a proxy for tinyurl. I don't actually know how often tinypuzz is being used. Oop. It's probably not being used very often. Or maybe it's being used all the time. I'm not sure, actually. All right, so tinypuzz, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. It probably should go somewhere else. Although if it does, because right now I'm thinking like if it needs access internal to the database, but it probably shouldn't. If at most it should proxy to something on SudokuPad, right? At worst. So the tinyurl, tinypuzz should probably go here as well. Right. And then should change that to that. And once again, it's different. I don't know why it doesn't clone it. All right. So that's another one for the small server. I mean, these are the services that are running, so I can just pull these out, right? Can just put these here. Right. So then they get split up. This goes under here. Right. And we want to move tinypuzz there as well. And we probably, I don't know, TwitchBot we probably want to keep under the main site, right? And then the other things, okay, and why is it crackling? Stop it. I don't know, every now and then like it hasn't done it in a long time now. Now today it's done it like this is the 3rd or 4th time. PPT, yeah. So the cron jobs will need, they're part of but we'll probably want to change these to actually just be cron jobs, not be some weird service I'm creating myself. So now we'll move the actual sites So these should go here. And these are the primary ones. And then we'll probably want to move like alpha maybe into this one, right? The middle-sized one. Kind of something like that. All the cron stuff we need to figure out API. So we're gonna do this. Link server needs to be under the primary here. Proxy, you know, so then we'll just say kind of to remove these or reduce. So proxy should be replaced with Nginx. Reduce these. TwitchBot should be here. I don't know. I don't remember if TwitchBot is part of. I think it's part of SudokuPad. Yeah, but I don't know if it needs to be. No, it is because it's directly tied into the server. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. SudokuPad.com API. I don't remember exactly what that does. Is that for the 912? API.app 99015. Is that this one? Probably. Okay, so that's some stuff we need to improve on and clean up. I think I don't know if it's all legacy stuff or mostly legacy or how exactly that looks. Cron jobs. And then that's experimental. Is that running right now? How is that currently configured? .dev. SPSE. Oh, Sven codes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's the SudokuPad Special Edition. Okay, that probably will be made redundant, but it's good to know that it exists. All the cron stuff, like why is there cron info for crying out loud? Nope. Run. Ugh. This is restarting everything, huh? Ugh, I should have thought that through more carefully. Uh-oh. Why did I just do that? Shit. Shit. Why? What the hell, man? So everything is down right now. Are you kidding me? No, just search. Jesus Christ. Oh man, this noise in my microphone is so annoying. Okay. All right, is traffic coming back now? So somebody's hitting this page. All right, we're coming back up. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Well, that's how fast that happens. Why would it do that? Holy moly. And why would I just type that in? Let me see. I'm just curious what happened. Like, I'm glad I... How do you spell wiped? Like this? I'm glad I can recover like this, and then I'm kind of more confident that I can restart these processes and stuff. During morning updates, unnamed process is based on the current state safe in dump file. Typically, no dump file present in current missing empty. It's the in-memory process listener. That's ridiculous. So that's when it started. I don't know, man. What the hell just happened? So July 20th. So that's the restart that happened from the update. It looks like it's all starting. Jesus. Criminy. There's nothing here. What the hell? May take a moment to load. A very long moment. PM2-V. PM2 list. So that should all be running. I restart some memory. Okay, so one restart, that's fine. CPU memory. That looks all good. All right. Let's try this. My God, I hope I'm not flashing any stuff, any delicate things on the screen. Okay. I hope the traffic is going back to normal now. Don't think it's gone back to normal yet. It's kind of hard to tell. Ah, wait. Can I go to visits? Sort of visitors. Visits. Pages last 30 minutes. Okay, so that seems to have gone down and then recovered. It's just the visitors thing. It I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't look right. I don't like it. Yeah, that went down and then pop back up. So it's visits and visitors where it gets very confused. All right, so that seems to work. That's expected stuff. Okay. Let's make sure this all makes sense. Okay, that's the GPU preferences. What? Wait a second. Where does this come from? Do I really have that in there? My God. Okay. It's the Puppeteer stuff. And then finally, PM2 save. All right, PM2 save. Boom. Well, that was scary. Let's see if anybody noticed. I don't see anything general descriptions. Jesus. Doesn't look like anybody noticed. All right. I'm gonna take a break. This is too stressful for me. I don't know. I've already done the gas puzzle. Is there a new NYT one? Let's do the NYTs. I don't think I've done those today. That was scary. All right, that's the New York Times Hard for Sunday, the 20th of July, 2025. And what I like to do with these is I practice my no pencil marking, and I look for the first digit, because there's almost always a digit you can place without any pencil marks. And I don't even want to use selection as a sort of crutch. So for example, the 3 is here, right? The 3's got to be here, here, because of that 3. We know there's a 3 here. And then I allow myself pencil mark, because very rarely is there a second one that you can place. I'm looking at these 2s, 8s, 8s, 8, 8, 8, 8. There was an 8 actually that we could have placed right away. Interesting. It's rare, but apparently it does happen. Okay, 9s. Okay. 9 here. All right, 1's here. Here. 2's. 2 can be here in this row. That's somewhat interesting. 3's. Here and here. Okay. All right. Let's mark these on. There's only 3 left. And 5. 1 to 5. All right. We got the 2 here. 1 there. 5 there. All right. That paid off. Let's do these 3. When we get down to 3 in a row or column or box, it's usually fairly safe and helpful to actually mark them up. Some people don't mark till 2. I like till 3. 4 usually is useless. I found 4 almost always. Usually I go, like, if I can't solve it, I usually go back and don't mark the 4's. And then I end up being able to solve it after that. So 4's is actually generally a hindrance rather than a help if you mark 4 possibilities. Here we go. There's another 3. 2, 4, and 9. That means there's a 4 down here. Okay. I got 8's over here. They're there, right? Let's mark these. Now, I'm not saying you can't mark if there's 4 gaps. That's usually when I start marking. It's just when they're like this, 2, 6, 7, 8, that doesn't help. But this helped, and we got a 6 here. And then we got a 7 here, and now we got a 2, 8 here, and that actually does help. Now we've got 3 left here, 4 and 9. Oops. 4 going here. All right, and now I only have 3 left here. Just 6, 7, 8. 7 going here, 8 going here, 2 there, and 1, 3, 4 here, and 2 and 9 here. 8 and 5. 5 there. And we have 1, 4, 6, 9 here. Then the 1's here. And that means no 1's in these. And 1's in these. Okay. And now we're kind of on the home stretch. I think the rest is... I don't think there's anything else here that can put up a fight. Unless I'm wrong. I doubt, though. I really don't think so. Even but for me, this should be easy now. The question is it quick? Yeah, it'll be quick. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, don't like that one. 1, 6. There's still 4 here. 4, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like these 4-digit ones. Like I said, this is 4 because these 3 are known. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gives us a 6, 7 here, but these 2 I don't like. 5 here, 6, 7 here. What about this column? Right, so 2, 9 aren't up here. 2, 9 is either here or here. All right, then there's a 4 up here. What does that give us for force over there? Nope. All right, and 9s, I think useful 9s. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 1, 4, 6. 1, 6. Okay. This row is quite sparse. Quite filled in, I mean. Opposite of sparse. 4, 6 pair. And we know that's the 4. Okay. All right, that'll do a bunch of things, I think. Oh, wait. This can't be a nut. Can't be a 1. That's got to be a 1. That's got to be a 9. 2, 4, 6. That's got to be a 1. That's got to be a 3. Okay. And up here, the 9 goes there. All right. 6, 9, 4, 6, 3, 6, 6, 4, and 3, 8, 5. 7, 7, 4, 5, and 9. No. What are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All right, I think I'm going to call it here. I need a break. That was a little bit of a shock, but I'm glad I did the initial setup for Engine X. We didn't do as much diagramming as I was hoping, but there was nobody here. It's kind of hard to do things like that on my own because diagramming isn't fun. And I think very soon I can actually probably kind of set these up on dev already, and then like Sven Codes is not a domain name that gets a lot of use. And I can just move it over there. CDC book is also relatively low impact. And I think they're being logged here. I think if I look at... I think I can filter by host. Oop, no. Host name is... Maybe not. Okay, so maybe I'm not using plausible for those. I should look into creating a second plausible account for these very low traffic sites like Sven Codes and just have a free account for Sven Codes. Although I don't think plausible even has a free tier, even at its lowest. But maybe I can add it to this account. I'll have to look into it. All right. Well, that's it for today. Weird episode, but don't blame me. You guys got to come in and let me know what you want to do, and then we can do that. So in the meantime, take care. See you guys in the next one, I hope. Thanks for hanging out.